Before I start today's podcast, I just wanted to take a few seconds to say thank you so much to all of you who have been listening and downloading and telling friends and family about the podcast. They are getting more and more popular. Each episode is getting more downloads than the last, so that word of mouth is really spreading, which is fantastic. If you do have 2 minutes to spare, please take that time just to leave a review or even a simple rating on the podcast app of your choice. It helps to spread the word even further, and then we can help more couples plan their perfect wedding. Thank you very much. Today's episode is all about suits and style and sartorial elegance, and I chatted to Jake from King & Allen, who are bespoke tailors, all about choosing the right suits, things to consider, tips for keeping your suit looking good before and after the big day. And there are some gems of information and advice in this podcast for looking good and finding a style that suits. So sit back, relax, and find out how King & Allen can help you look amazing on your wedding day. Good morning, Jake. Welcome to the podcast. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
So, yes, thank you for having me here. So, I have a bespoke tailoring business called King & Allen. We make suits for weddings and business.
Fantastic. So when did your business start and what's your background with regards to tailoring?
Well, the business started way back in 2003. We have a business partner, Adam King. And we were traveling the world, and we were looking for a business we could start together, and we both stumbled upon tailoring. So from different points of view. So I'm very tall and slim, which meant I can't really buy a suit off the peg.
Right, okay.
And my partner, Adam, he was coming from it from a style point of view. So he was in a band and kind of Rat Pack kind of stuff.
Okay,
he liked that kind of style.
Yeah.
But he couldn't find the suit styles that he liked. So those sort of joint experiences we had in the market led us to say, well, there's obviously a gap here.
Yes.
For both clothes that fit really well and where you have free reign to choose the style.
Yeah, because I think, I've known other people who've said that if they're a sort of a size or shape that's outside of the norm or what society thinks is the norm, then they sort of have to just wear what they can find and what fits rather than what style suits them. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's two aspects to that. One is people's proportions. So you might not be a kind of off the peg body shape.
Yep.
So that's one area. You might have, longer arms than the average person, or you might have a broader chest to your waist if you go to the gym a lot, or the other way round if you don't. But no two people are the same size, and it doesn't really. No one conforms to an off the peg shape.
No.
The other thing is if you're between sizes, because of course off the peg generally comes if you're buying a suit in 2-inch chest sizes.
Yeah.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
So you might be between sizes.
Did you have experience of tailoring yourself at that point? Or
So not at that point.
Right.
So we started off with quite a straightforward proposition. We started making dinner suits.
Okay.
And we were trained by our tailors who are making our suits, how to measure up and do the fittings. And it went from there. So from dinner suits, we started into suits, and then the company grew, and we started taking on a lot more expertise in house, which enabled us to improve the quality of our tailoring and the sophistication of what we were offering.
Brilliant. So you hired people with expert knowledge right from the start.
Hired in the talent. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what services do you provide? Do you just do wedding suits? Do you still do the dinner jackets? Bit of everything?
Yeah, we still do formal wear. So dinner suits, morning suits for Ascot. The bread and butter has always been the business suits.
Okay.
So quite often people in the city, financiers, but we've increasingly moved into weddings and event-based business.
Yeah.
So the weddings is great. I mean, it's very seasonal. So we have this big run-in period to it, and then a lot of kind of early summer business where we're doing consultations.
Yeah.
followed by a lot of delivery of suits and fittings in the summer coming up into the weddings.
Fantastic.
But
and then a bit of a lull after that.
Bit of a lull after that. We can sort of, take stock.
Yeah.
And calm down again. But it's great. I mean, it's all manageable.
Yeah.
And it's much more exciting doing the wedding business because people are so more emotive about the suits. It's such a special occasion.
I bet.
And
Absolutely.
you're making people cry with joy, making people smile. It's something that feels like you're doing something worthwhile.
Yeah. Like you say, a lot more of an emotional connection to what they're wearing. So is there a common problem that clients come to you with in terms of suits? Do you find that people getting married have a different set of issues to people coming in for a business suit, for example?
Well, I think you can probably relate it back to the reasons we started the business in the first place. People come to us because they're a body shape that doesn't fit an off-the-peg suit.
Yeah.
Or they come because they can't find the style that they want.
Yeah.
Or both. Because the beauty of having something made from scratch is that you come along and you see the cloth that you like, and then you can have it in the style that you like. You don't have to marry up a style with a cloth or a fit like you would off the peg.
Yeah.
So you might find something off the peg that you think is a perfect fit, but you don't like the colour, or you don't like the buttons, or you don't like something about it.
Yeah.
You're stuck with that off the peg. There's no compromise when you're going bespoke. So that's the problem.
I like that. No compromise when you go bespoke.
Exactly.
Brilliant. So obviously, like you say, there's no compromise, but do you have a certain style or a sort of set of designs, or is it a really broad spectrum?
Well, we don't really work to a pre-made style.
Right.
I mean, if you asked us, some tailors have a house style.
Right.
And if you don't want that house style, then they send you away, which I think is a little short-sighted.
Yeah.
It's certainly prevalent on Savile Row. If you don't like that particular tailor's cut, you go to the one next door.
Yeah.
So we've never operated like that. But if you asked if we had to pick a kind of house style, I would say we tend to cut the suits quite modern and slim.
Okay.
And with bespoke suits, you can cut the armhole a little tighter.
Right.
Because it's set by hand.
Okay.
And the line that you get between the bottom of your armhole and the bottom of the jacket creates that nice fitted look.
Okay.
So the longer that line, the more the curve is accentuated into your waist.
Oh, right.
And the taller and slimmer you'll look.
Oh, so that's a good tip.
So that's a house cut. Is to cut the arm quite high.
Cool.
Which gives that longer line through the body.
Wow. So it's all those little tips and tricks to just help people look their best and feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. So what about your consultation process? How do you help people find the right wedding outfit in terms of style and look?
It's all about listening to the client. We've always been very approachable.
Yep.
We've tried to be the opposite of what perhaps you might think of as a traditional tailor.
Okay.
If you think a slightly elderly person with spectacles and tape measure around their neck, and that's what people might think of when they think of a tailor. And that's what we try not to be.
Right,
in fact,
okay.
In the early days, we actually banned anyone putting a tape measure around their neck. So because we're open, we're approachable, we listen. We start off by listening, find out what our client is after, what they've got in mind for for wedding or business, and just first of all sit down 15 minutes just talking and just get some ideas, find out what their wedding style is, the colours of their wedding, what they're looking for in their suit, how they want it to fit, all those things, and only then we start to go into showing cloths and offering appropriate things.
Brilliant. I think a lot of wedding suppliers are still guilty of going straight in for the sale and what they do and what they don't do and the benefits of their service. And I think listening is key, actually. And I always advise anyone that's planning their wedding to prepare themselves. If they're talking more about themselves and having questions asked of them, it's a positive sign. You should be the one that people are wanting to get to know and find out about, because then people are tailoring their service to you, which is a bit of a pun. I didn't, but no, excellent. So in terms of wedding clients, you're quite an inclusive company. That's why you're on the podcast, because that comes across in your branding and marketing and your ethos.
Absolutely. I mean, as I say, we were always it was something we set out from the start, was to be approachable.
Yeah.
And that was one particular aim that we had. We thought approachable meant that we would attract people who were intimidated by Savile Row. But actually what happened was that approachable meant that we became more inclusive by default.
Yeah.
Because of our approachability, people could see from our website and our testimonials that we were open and just didn't make any judgment and just discussed each client individually. So that was, it just grew organically. And now, I mean, the LGBTQ community is a big growth area for us.
Yeah.
Because we are, dare I say, so good at it. I mean,
no, you're allowed to say that. That's good. Yeah, don't come on and say you're okay or average. Sell yourself. No, that's cool. So you obviously do a lot of suits for women as well, getting married.
Yes. So a lot of tailors won't do cut suits for women.
Right. Okay.
Because cutting a suit for a woman is more complex.
Right.
Because there's slightly more curves.
Yep.
And if you are a cutter of men's suits, the person who draws the pattern and cuts that, you are a cutter of men's suits. You don't cross over.
Right, okay.
And then if you cut women's suits, you're a cutter of women's wear.
Right.
And that's how it works.
Yeah.
So if you're a bespoke tailoring shop and you are deciding on your business model, it's quite straightforward to say, well, 90% of suit wearers are men.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a men's cutter, and that therein it ends.
Yeah.
And so there's no women's suits at all. So we're fairly in the minority of tailors that actually tailor suits for women, and then again more that we are inclusive and we do a lot of suits for weddings for women.
Yeah, and I suppose because you do both, like you say, if you went to specifically a men's or women's tailor, that choice of fabrics and style would again probably be quite gender specific and sort of limited. Whereas I suppose there's a lot of crossover with you where people can have what they want.
Yeah, well, we're finding that more and more. And in fact, we're introducing, we offer two different methods of making the suits. We offer a made to measure and we offer fully bespoke.
Okay.
So the fully bespoke is more hand stitched and there's a lot more work goes into it in terms of hours. The made to measure, you have less fittings.
Right.
And we use an off the peg jacket to try on. And use that in conjunction with your measurements to make the perfect suit for you.
Okay.
But we're actually introducing made to measure for women.
Wow.
And made to measure, we already do made to measure for men. But what we're seeing is a bit of a crossover where it's more of a masculine block and a feminine block.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what gender you are, it's the cut that you want is determining which block we're using.
Yeah, fantastic. I know one of my clients, I think they're coming to you actually, they wanted maybe a suit, but they didn't want it too butch, because I think that's the misconception that if you wear a suit, you're going to sort of be the butch one or you're going to look masculine, and that's not the case at all, is it?
No, not. I mean, yes, in some cases, people want a sort of more masculine.
Yeah,
suit.
We're not saying that's a bad thing at all.
But I mean, what with the majority of our clients, they for the women's weddings, quite often one is wearing a dress and one is wearing a suit.
Yeah,
and that suit needs to fit them well, slightly fitted, give a bit of shape to the waist.
Yeah.
Usually quite tapered trousers. So yeah, it's all sort of styles we're offering now.
And what are the considerations people need to make when they're thinking of getting their suit designed for their wedding in terms of practicality and timelines and things like that?
Well, I think the cloth that you choose is quite key.
Right.
So that's some of the fundamental questions we ask. So there's a scale of cloths, but essentially you have slightly heavier, slightly what we call a drier handle, slightly coarser.
Okay.
Hard wearing cloths that hang really, they're quite, they don't have much drape, so they hang quite straight.
Okay.
Quite a clean, crisp look. And then at the other end of the scale, you have the more luxurious cloths, which are very finely spun. So the yarns are thinner and softer.
Right.
So you feel a much more of a softness to it. and it's much lighter in weight.
Okay.
So you put that on, it really feels like you're wearing a very expensive suit, which is nice, but it's not so hard wearing.
Right. Okay.
So it's that balance. So do you want the kind of crisp suit that's going to hang really sharply, that's going to be quite hard wearing, so you get a lot of wear out of it after the wedding? Or do you want something lighter that's more appropriate to a hot climate? That feels more luxurious.
Yeah. And if you're having a summer wedding and you're sweating and it's all those things to...
Yeah, these are all questions we ask our clients, and in themselves, how hot do you get? If you're a person who likes to put on an extra jumper, or whether you break into a sweat as soon as you...
I'm hopeless in the heat, so I'd want something pretty light, pretty nice and light. Absolutely. Brilliant. Is there any advice you give on sort of caring for your suit during and after the wedding day?
Absolutely, yeah. So during the wedding day or before the wedding day, we recommend that you should just go into a bathroom,
right?
Turn the tap on as hot as it will go, and close the door and create effectively a steam room in your own bathroom.
Okay.
Hang your suit in there for 10 minutes, and the steam will refresh the suit, and all the creases will just drop out.
Oh wow!
So that's great if you're travelling.
Yeah.
To a wedding and you've had it on an aeroplane, maybe. But there's lots of other things that we recommend. Aeroplanes have wardrobes on them, so if it's possible, you can ask the airline to put your suit into the wardrobe. It's in the main seating area.
Yeah. But I never knew airplanes had wardrobes. That's a new one.
You can book on your bridal dress.
Oh really?
Yes. So it's usually for bridal dresses.
Oh okay.
But if they've got space, they'll hang your suit for you.
Oh wow.
There's little things like that.
Yeah.
Take a lint roller to your wedding.
So
a lint roller is a little sticky roller that takes off any fluff. So give it a quick roll just before you go out of your room when you're dressed. And then, after the wedding, the key is not dry cleaning your suit too often.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit of a misnomer that dry cleaning is friendly to clothing, because everyone thinks it's a care label, dry clean only. But it's done with heat and chemicals. So it's dry, i.e. there's no water, but they blast hot chemicals at it.
Oh, wow.
Which eventually destroys the cloth. So we say try not to dry clean it very often, once every 6 months maybe if you're wearing it fairly regularly. But you can avoid dry cleaning it if you don't wear it more than a day at a time. So it's good not to wear it 2 days in a row. So have more than one suit if you're wearing a suit every day and rotate them. Because if you allow a suit to rest, it will refresh itself and it allows it to breathe and it will self-clean.
Oh, wow.
So a suit that was not so fresh at the end of the day, hang it up, give it some air, back in the bathroom even, and it will be refreshed 24 hours later.
Wow.
And that stops the bacteria building up, which is the reason you need to clean it.
Brilliant. I never knew any of that. I'm sure most people listening didn't know that. And like you say, most people think that you just take it to the dry cleaners because it's sort of it's the careful thing to do and the right thing to do. And it's actually quite a strong process that they go through.
Well, the other thing you could do as well to avoid dry cleaning, especially if this is going to be your occasion suit, because quite often our clients will buy a suit for their wedding and then thereafter it's there. In inverted commas, occasion suit is the one that sits in their wardrobe. They maybe not wear a suit to work, but it's sat in their wardrobe, and it's great because they've got a go-to suit every time they get invited to a wedding. They have this whole complication of, I've been invited to a wedding, what am I going to wear? It's there, it's in their wardrobe. They'll grab it. If you're going to wear it to weddings, quite often you get marks on it, food, drink, whatever. And that doesn't mean you need to dry clean it every time you go to a wedding, because you're going to destroy a suit before it's really had its time.
Okay.
So you can ask a dry cleaner to spot clean it. And if there's a mark on it, that just means they'll take a little cloth or sponge and they'll just clean off the area where it's got dirty.
Oh, okay.
Without putting it in the drum with the chemicals and the heat.
So it's not an all or nothing, it's just the specific... Oh, fantastic.
So that's a little tip, just ask for it to be spot cleaned.
So if somebody's booking you or coming for a consultation, how far in advance of their wedding would they need to think about their suit?
There's more than one answer.
Okay, that's fine.
What we advise our clients is, as soon as you're thinking about it, come and see us.
Right.
Because even if you aren't ready to go ahead and get measured up there and then, if you can find, if you come and see us and you like what we do, you find maybe even the cloth that you'd like, and you can sort of tick that off your list. So you can say, right, I found my tailor.
Yeah.
Kim and Alan are going to be my tailor. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about when you're going to get measured up, but that's it. It's done.
Okay.
So if it's a year in advance or 2 years in advance, we'd be delighted to see you, talk you through it, and show you what we can offer.
Brilliant.
And that makes sure that, you know, we're a good fit and you like us. Of course, we'll like you. But in terms of actually making the suit, we like to allow 12 weeks.
Right.
So around 3 months. And that allows us plenty of time to do all the fittings and have it in your wardrobe. You probably want it in your wardrobe a good few weeks before the wedding. All done, all complete.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when you're getting married, there's lots of things that you have to do last minute.
Absolutely.
But your suit fittings don't have to be one of them.
Right.
So allow a lot of time, get it done. It's in your wardrobe. The absolute quickest we can make a suit, if you have left it to the last minute, is 5 weeks.
Okay.
That's all the fittings. Making the suit, it'll be 5 weeks from start to finish.
But that's a little bit stressful for the couple and for you, I suppose, in terms of...
Yeah, I mean,
like you say, it's nice to have it hanging there a few weeks before knowing it's done, ideally.
But also, if you add time into if you factor in a bit of leeway into the time frames, then you're a bit more flexible on the fittings.
Yeah.
So if you've got a few weeks in lieu, then if you've got your stag do on one weekend, which was the weekend your fitting was due, and you want to move it to the next weekend or the next week, that's fine with us.
Yeah.
But if you leave it to the last minute, it's like, right, you've got to come in for a fitting on this date, and this date, and you can't miss those dates because the suit simply won't be ready. So it gives everyone a bit more flexibility and a bit more wiggle room, which is much more relaxing. So we do recommend people come in a little bit earlier. And not least, we do charge for an express service.
Okay,
so there is a financial penalty for leaving.
Save stress and money, yeah. What about people, if their shape changes or, you know, they're losing weight for the wedding or they overindulge a bit too much? Is that something to think about at all?
It's something we're very aware of.
Yeah.
And it will be part of our discussion.
Right.
So we commit to what we're going to do, and which is deliver you a suit to a certain size.
Yeah.
And we can't be responsible if you've changed drastically.
No.
Because we've made it to that size, which is what we set out to do. Now, I know bridal companies often, with wedding dresses, charge extortionate amounts for adjustments no matter what. But with us, all the fittings are included.
Okay.
So on paper, we would charge you if you change shape.
Right.
But in reality, of course, we're doing the fittings and we don't mind about a little movement either way.
Okay.
What we get quite often is we get brides and grooms coming in who are going to lose weight or already losing weight. And what we do in that instance, we have a discussion with them about how much weight they think they're going to lose.
Right.
And we can use our expertise to see how the measurements are going to change.
Right, okay.
You know, I've seen a lot of bodies change shape over my time, and I can use my experience to see where the measurements, how it's going to influence the measurements.
Right, okay.
So, without going into too much detail, that is something we can accommodate. So you would say, I'm going to lose this much weight. And I would say, right, okay, well, I think that's going to translate to, say, 2 inches on the waist.
Right.
So I would measure your waist 2 inches smaller.
Right, okay.
And we'd work on it like that. So it's an agreement between us both as to how much weight you're going to lose.
And I guess quite a good motivation to stick to any diet that you're gonna be on. Yeah.
But typically people, unfortunately, lose a little less weight than they think they're going to.
Yeah,
so we sort of hedge our bets because you've got all the other things around it, the stag do's and hen do's, and you know, the best will in the world.
Yeah,
you're busy at the time, so you know you've got all the organisation. It's easier to get takeaways than it is to stick to your diet.
Yeah, especially when there's a lot going on, like you say, to plan and sort out. What about sort of leeway? Sort of on the day you're going to be sort of eating quite a lot of food. Do you factor that in?
I think on the yes and no. The trousers have side adjusters quite frequently.
Right, okay.
We offer belt loops or side adjusters. So side adjusters are quite nice if you think you're going to, I mean, people know their own bodies. If they think
Yeah.
they're going to expand a little, then we might cut the trousers a little looser,
Yeah.
which can then be pulled in with the side adjusters.
Okay.
And then you've got some scope to go outwards if you need to. And the jackets, it's a lot of people think that fitted means tight.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Right.
The fitted is the shape. You
Okay.
create that nice silhouette with the curve going into the waist.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean skin tight. So if you create a skin tight jacket, of course, if you put on a little weight or even just have a big meal, it's going to start pulling, on the front. So we would never cut it like that. We would usually cut it with what we call an overbody allowance.
Right.
So it's your measurement plus whatever
A
you
little
need
bit,
to
yeah.
make it hang nicely. So even on a fitted suit, we would do 2 or 3 inches overbody allowance around your waist. So a meal is only going to add half an inch if at the most.
Yeah.
So you're not going to notice that. So that's absolutely fine.
Cool. Yeah, it's probably an obvious question or a silly question to ask, but I'm sure there's lots of people that have never had a fitted suit before, so it's always worth asking.
Well, absolutely.
Things. Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. Is there any other sort of advice on suits or what you do that you wanted to share with us?
I think we've covered quite a lot. I think there's, in terms of fashion,
Yep.
there's one big tip, which is only go with the fashion trend if it suits your body shape.
Yeah, that's a brilliant tip.
Yeah, so otherwise ignore it. So, for example, in suiting, we see a lot of short style jackets for men at the moment.
Yeah.
It just doesn't suit all body types.
No.
So that's the first rule. Yes, by all means, go with the latest trend if it suits your body shape, but you've got to getting the proportions right is so much more important.
Yeah.
And just finding a suit that works for you, and you'll look more elegant. You'll appreciate it when you look in the mirror. You'll say, "Yeah, I look good." Which is what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, and then you feel good, don't you? So it's all a knock-on.
Absolutely,
knock-on effect, definitely. Brilliant. So what I ask guests to do is to answer the question I wish somebody had told me. So you're a married man? Am I right in saying you're a married man? Spot on the ring on your finger?
Yes.
So is there something you wish somebody had told you prior to your own wedding? A little bit of advice.
Yeah, I mean, I would say plan in advance.
Yeah.
Don't leave everything to the last minute. A great bit of advice that I received, which was, you and your fiance are the only people who know what your wedding should look like.
Okay.
You're involved in the planning. You know what should happen. So if something doesn't happen right, you're the only ones that know about it.
That's a good way of looking at it.
None of your guests know that this went wrong.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it.
That's brilliant, actually. Yeah. Because so many people do sort of get thrown off the rails if something isn't quite the right shade or doesn't look quite as they'd anticipated. But guests will take their cue from you, I suppose. And
Absolutely. Well, it'll be all right on the night.
It'll be all right on the night. Yeah.
I mean, the suits that we make, the compliments that people get on the day, and it's just, it comes back to us that, I'm so glad. It looks so amazing. And any doubts about, have I chosen the right cloth? Have I chosen the right style? On the day, it's all forgotten about.
Yeah.
And it's all just compliments and joy.
Brilliant. Cool. So if you want to share your website and your email address and how people can have a look at some of your work and how they can contact you.
Yeah, certainly. So you can find our website is kingandallen.co.uk. Allen is ALLEN. And you can email us at info@kingandallen.co.uk.
Brilliant. And you've got a really good regular newsletter that you send out as well, haven't you?
We do, yes. So on our website, you can sign up to our newsletter, which we call The Stitch. That comes out monthly. It's packed full of style advice and little tips. From the website, we've also got a lot of galleries. So there's all our suits on our website are ones we've created. We don't buy in any stock images. So when you go to our galleries, you can see the actual suits that we've created and get some inspiration there.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. As ever, you can see my work at rosswilshirephotography.co.uk, or you can email info@rosswilshirephotography.co.uk. Thanks so much for your time today, Jake, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
No, thank you.